Richard Colbeck is the Minister for Aged Care and Senior Australians, and he joins us now via Skype. Minister, thank you for joining us, because the Prime Minister was really clear today that some of these aged care facilities have gone too far. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, perhaps going too far in the overprotection of some of the people that are in these facilities. But let's be really clear. If you want to be able to visit somebody in those facilities, you should be able to do it, right?
Well, that's the clear clinical advice that's come from the AHPPC, and that was, as you say, very clearly re-announced by the Prime Minister and the Chief Medical Officer, Brendan Murphy, today after the National Cabinet meeting. It was discussed at the National Cabinet. Been talking to the Chief Medical Officer about this for a few days now. I've been concerned, he has been very concerned about the broader general wellbeing of senior Australians in aged care facilities who haven't been able to have the contact that they need for their general wellbeing. And so the Prime Minister was, as you say, very, very clear in his comments this afternoon.
What's been some of the more extreme examples that you've heard of, some of the silly limitations?
Well, look, there are some people who are very, very regular visitors to aged care facilities and very close to their loved ones who are in there. In fact, you could say they are there as often, if not more often, than some staff members. And I've seen one really tragic example that came to me over the Easter weekend, where a chap was spending 12 hours a day with his mum every day. So providing significant input into his mum's care, significant assistance to the aged care facility, but because of the provisions that were being put in place by this particular facility, he wasn't able to go and see his mum. Now, he was invited back in the very final stages of her life, but quite frankly, a sensible approach would have been to treat him like any other staff member, because he was effectively doing that role, screen him every day as he came in, as they do every staff member, take advantage of the fact that he was there and allow him to be with his loved one in those final 6 or 8 weeks of her life. And, I mean, that's one example. I have had some examples of facilities. In fact, I got a letter from a friend today where they are doing a brilliant job. And even though there are very stringent conditions down here in Tassie, they were regular visitors to their mum. They were treated brilliantly by the facility. Her mum was treated brilliantly by the facility, and they had only good things to say. So there's a range, but the reality is that through this process, what we have observed is a reduction in the well-being of some residents who haven't had access to the loved ones, and and the result of that is the expression that came out of National Cabinet today.
All right, last question. So if I wanted to be able to go into one of these facilities, but for whatever reason, person with the clipboard says, no, who do you appeal to? Who do you call? What do you do if there's a point of conflict about you being able to want to go into one of these facilities?
Well, the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission is investigating every inquiry that they get with respect to that. I would urge people to get in touch with the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commissioner, and she will investigate that. I've had that conversation with her. But can I say, Paul, across the board, I think the aged care sector has performed very, very well throughout this process. They've done a great job. And just looking at some of the numbers today, there are quite a few facilities that have had a COVID outbreak that have completely cleared it. There's some really good news in respect of some of them coming today. We're seeing senior Australians recover completely from the virus. Yes, we've had a number of people who have passed away, but I would have to commend the sector more broadly on their performance through this really difficult time. They've done quite a good job, but there are some things that we are asking them to pay attention to, and that's what the Prime Minister talked about today.
Good reminder, nice clear message. Thank you very much, Minister.